What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and it is a wonderful day because patch 1.06 is finally here. So we got some really nice changes, some big quality of life updates to PvP, as well as some much needed balance. So I've already had a chance to go through the patch notes, test a bunch of stuff, so we're going to be able to keep things concise here. But let's talk about the changes and jump on in. So to start, we're going to be going through kind of full screen, looking at some stuff. And then I'll be showing those changes in real time. Major changes included in the latest update: additional elements. This is probably the coolest one. Added the function to send summoning signs to summoning pools in multiple areas, including distant areas. When sending a co-op sign to distant areas with this function, summoning pools in Mogul and Palace will be excluded. Added the function to invade a larger area, including distant areas, and added a new way to advance White Mask Various questline, other than participating in multiplayer invasions by defeating a new NPC. So what are they talking about exactly? Well, this actually brings the effigy system more in line with what we thought it was going to be like at launch. And so to elaborate here, if I want to make, if I want to do multiplayer with one specific person, let's say I'm just trying to duel somebody or I'm trying to co-op, I'm still going to use the furled fingers. But now when I use this effigy, it's going to be nearby only or near and far. Nearby only is going to hit effigies pools that are just in the immediate area. Near and far is going to send it out across the entire world. So this means that if I'm just playing around and I want to do co-op and I use the pool, it's going to hit the pools in Limgrave. It's going to hit the pools in Liurnia. It's going to hit the pools up in the Altus Plateau. And in a similar fashion, if I go to multiplayer, I don't know if I'll get one on this character because he's 400, but I can do near and far on invasions. Now, I tested this earlier. I had a character that I was invading with while in Liurnia. I was invading like over here, and the invasion target was all the way over here. So really nice. Just going to give us a wider range of invasions. You know, the connectivity, being able to find more people as we're playing. Big quality of life change. This is actually super significant. There was a mod that added this in a previous Souls title, something called Wex Dust, which basically just increased the invasion range. So it's crazy to see something like that actually getting added into the game. Moving on from there down to the balance changes. We'll do that while we're trying to get invasion, just to show that off. Added the following adjustments to greatsword, curved swords, great hammers. We get reduced the time it takes for rolling to become possible after an attack. Jump attack, dual wield, and attacks while mounted are excluded. Increase the motion speed of strong attack and charged attack. Increase the guard counter's motion speed. And then we have similar applications to the great axe. Increase the attack speed of great axe and reduce the time it takes for rolling to become possible after an attack. Jump attack, dual wield, mounted not included. So, showing what they're talking about here. Basically, our heavy attacks now, those are going to be coming out much faster. Do that, and then we can get into a roll. Charge attacks. This is fantastic because it means that playing with heavy attacks on great hammers, on great swords, on curved great swords, it's going to be better than it's ever been. Charge attacks are coming out faster, and they're not going to be as high commitment. Usually you had quite a bit of lag on that roll away. And now we're able to, I mean, before he even finished his recovery, we were able to roll out. That's pretty big. Like, you couldn't do that previously. I could not charge up an attack and then roll away before the follow-up would come in. Guard counters are coming out faster. And I'm guessing it's going to be similar with using the great axes. I've only worked it with the great hammer, but yeah, same thing. We're going to be able to charge those attacks out and then get the rollout faster, which just makes this whole category of weapons more viable in both PvE and PvP. So really nice change. Moving on from there, increase the rolling distance when player has a light equip load. That one is pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be rolling even farther with light equip load, just making it better than it has been in the past. The next two, increase the hitbox of Cypherpod as weapon skill and blockable blade, and increase the range of Ash of War, Glintstone Pebble, and Glintstone Dart projectile, while decreasing the damage and stagger power. Now this one is pretty interesting because this was really big from a PvP perspective. This was basically an auto-confirm, and that is no longer going to be the case. It still has the same damage, and it has more range, as it noted, but the big thing is we're not going to see the confirm kill when using this. So to show what I'm talking about, when we are working with this now, previously, if that connected, you could go straight in. That is no longer going to be the case. Which actually, you know what? Hang on. Remembered that NPC that I can fight might be up here, so we could actually use that as a showcase for a bunch of stuff. I don't think we're actually going to get an invasion on this character because he's at rune level 400. This is the guy we're doing the use it and lose it playthrough for. If you haven't checked that out, it's actually a lot of fun. We're doing a run where anytime we kill a named enemy or a boss, we have to discard the weapon or the spell that was used to get the kill. So we're trying to get through the entirety of the game on New Game +2 with slowly discarding all of our equipment, which is pretty neat, I think. Okay, awesome. This will work. We can use this guy for a couple of the tests. This is fantastic. So yeah, we don't get the auto confirm on that, but it does have a the increased range. So let's use it on Henricus just to see. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. I mean, it does have the distance, so it's gonna be more of a kind of like a harassment tool now. But the fact that people are just like, no, we don't get that follow-up, that's a big change. Shit, no. Oh, shit, I did not mean to kill you. Damn it. Henricus, no. I wanted to test more things on you. He's gone. He's gone. I messed up. I have messed up. Big rip. Well, let's go back to Gatefront, I guess, you know. It's nothing we can do about that. Okay, now this one I already tested, and I'm not exactly sure on the Cypherpod thing, because this, to me, I used this a little bit in my own first playthrough. This seems like a similar range. I managed to get a bunch of enemies grouped up. It didn't seem like the hitbox on it was any longer. It didn't seem like it went wider in terms of who we'd hit. But it said in particular that it increased the hitbox. So I'm not sure what portion of this has been increased. As you can see, it didn't hit that guy there, and that seemed like we were right on top of him. That's two instances where it seems like we were on top of him. And it did not hit. So I'm not entirely sure what was increased with this one. That's one of the few changes that it's just not very clear to me what exactly they have done here. These next two changes, though, are pretty big for PvP. Actually, these next four changes even. So, decrease the travel distance and invincibility frames of Ash of War Bloodhound Step while adding the changes below. Reduce performance when used continuously, and increase the travel distance when on light equip load. Shorten the activation interval when using Quickstep skill in succession, increasing its ability to circle around the enemy when locked on, and add the change below. Reduce performance when used continuously, increase travel distance when on light equip load. Decrease the damage and bleed buildup skill, Corpse Piler, when hit with the blood attack. When hit with the blade, the damage is only decreased slightly. And decrease the target tracking ability of sorcery, Stars of Ruin. So 4 very significant changes to PvP. We're going to, let me pull on out some daggers here just to show that. We'll do Quickstep on one of you, and then the other one, put our gold on the kings. I think I can use that. Let me go to Ashes of War. Wait, why did I put those away? Never mind. I forgot I have every single thing on. I gotta pull it out. So we can put Bloodhound Step, and then on Cord we'll do Quickstep. Show that now. That's pretty nuts what it can do now. So with this change, we are no longer able to just spam Bloodhound Step ad nauseum. We can't just keep using it. We can't just Bloodhound Step, Bloodhound Step, Bloodhound Step. I mean, we can, but stuff is going to hit us. Now, if you remember before, we could do this forever. And while we were doing it, we had infinite iframes. Watch as these guys group up. Maybe my stamina back. See, we're still able to get some dodges, but it's not just, oh god, it's got caught in the fray there. Earlier I tested it with some lobsters and they were hitting me through it as I kept spamming it. But it seems the Godric guards aren't as good. But I'm noticing those shield bashes are coming through, so hits are sneaking through. Yeah, go away. Just to show it against the other enemies, because that, I mean, well, if that was all you saw, you're probably like, hang on, this doesn't seem like it was patched at all. Those guys don't seem like they were a really good test. Let me go back. I'm gonna shoot my way. I don't have it. I have to run past. It's gonna take too damn long. And I think what I could go. Here we go. We can probably do this with the crabs, and it should be comparable. I jumped on a different character when I was testing this because I was trying to get the PvP. Bigger hitboxes, larger attacks. We're going straight through. And I was fighting the Lobsters over in Liurnia, and they didn't really care. They're like, no, stop with the Bloodhound Step. This is going to work against us. So I think the crabs will be comparable. We'll shoot on over to them. I believe this is the one where it summons up like 4 crabs. Yes, it is. Okay, excellent. Well, not 4 crabs, but this is enough crabs that we should be able to get a good test. We're just going to spam Bloodhound Step, see how long this will survive. It's working better than I thought. I wonder if it has something to do with the level of the character. Let me hop over to my other guy. Who was it? You. Because this actually, it doesn't seem as big of a nerf as I thought it was, based on what we're seeing right now. But earlier I tested it over here, and I was not able to evade the lobsters. Have it on still, put it on. I swear to God, I just tested this against these lobsters, and I was not avoiding like half their attacks. Oh, now they're hitting me. Now we're back into spam mode. It seems like there's a longer window, like at the second you stop spamming that button, there's going to be a chance of you getting hurt. Snipe. Still the most deadly enemy in Elden Ring. Now, the Quickstep change, on the other hand, that one is actually really, really nice. Hop over here. Good instance to use this. Then we're going to hop on over to sorcery character. Let's see. Fast here. The Quickstep. Oh yeah, and we gotta show off the Rivers of Blood change. So the Quickstep, they've made a definitive classification where Bloodhound Step is going to be for dodging. Quickstep, this thing is 100% for getting backstabs now. Watch this. Look at that. Circles right around and puts me in backstab range. What you gotta do is you gotta dodge towards him. If I'm dodging to the side, it's still gonna be like Bloodhound Step. But if I dodge in the direction of the enemy, I'm gonna go right behind them and get in the range for a parry. Now by comparison, Bloodhound Step, you can see I'm not getting the same type of dodge here. I'm not just circling around the target. I'm kind of going more off to their side. Where I was going for that quick step. Big fan of that change. Just allowing Quickstep to get you right up on top of that target for a backstab. I just like that it makes a difference, because before, you know, it was very much a case of, oh, well, you would use Quickstep. Quickstep is basically just discount Bloodhound Step, and now Quickstep has its own identity as an ability that's going to get you in position for those backstabs, which is super nice. Next up, we're going to look at the Corpse Piler change. This is one a lot of people have been... This is the nerf to Rivers of Blood. It's finally not as good as it used to be. It's pretty significant. I was seeing a damage difference of about 300 between using tip versus the blade itself. So hitting somebody with the range, see, we had 313 on him, and that was an unaware hit, so that had a damage bonus. By comparison, I'll get right up on top of him and use it, similar to how I would with like double slash. You can see, I mean, it was fast, but it was like, I think 513, 613, something like that. Let me actually gather a bunch of them. You'll catch a good glimpse of what it's going to look like now. The biggest thing is people that are just spamming that in PvP. We'll probably see more damage from like a katana that's using double slash that has lightning on it or something, versus just people constantly spamming Rivers of Blood now. As opposed to just slaughtering everything. You can see how the dudes on the outskirts are taking minimal damage from it now. Stuff gets right up on top of me, still taking the full hit, but the guys that are farther back are taking much weaker hits. And it's still good. But we're looking up to what, 209 versus 408, so it's almost double. That's 290. That happened so fast, but we had 609, I think, on the second hit. But yeah, so a little bit of a nerf there to the Rivers of Blood. Should be enough to make it a little bit more... well, a little bit less annoying to fight against, I would say. Now, the last one, I'm going to hop on over to our mage character just because they're already set up for it. Try and get an invasion, hopefully. Hopefully we will find one. With near and far. Ah, nice. So we got both Stars of Ruin and Star Shower on. I've been pushing the use of Star Shower for a while now, so it's good to see Star Shower did not get touched, whereas Stars of Ruin did. Hopefully I have somebody that understands we can just test this and not just try to rush me down. We'll see what happens. You never know. PvP's a mixed bag. So it was taking forever to actually get an invasion, so I went ahead and just called somebody in.
Hey!
Seems to have worked better.
Hey!
Let's see if he gets the idea that I want to test some stuff. So far, the tracking isn't nearly as good. Back up. By comparison, let's use Star Shower. Yup, Star Shower reigns supreme now. Yeah, so that'll be good for like little bits of harassment. But that's going to be about it. Though still, 600 a pop on harassment, that's pretty good. Ooh. Interesting. So yeah, that's I like that. Looks like the Stars of Ruin is gonna be more, you need to catch somebody that's unaware of it now versus just spamming it. Star Shower works great, which is fantastic because that's what I've promoted for a while now. And definitely that's gonna be interesting. So people might dodge that but get caught by the follow-up. And at the same time, we don't have the guaranteed, stun lock where we hit them with it and then it's just GG. So that's a very good change there. Now the rest of the stuff is just bug fixes. A lot of it's pretty minor stuff. Attacks with Lucerne weren't piercing enemies' guard. Two-handed jump attacks with Bloodhound Fang weren't really breaking stances. Determination and RKR were disappearing after using a parry skill with dagger. Dual-wielding axes and great axes caused additional effects from spells, weapon skills, and items to not be applied correctly. Fixed the bug when two-handing a halberd. A bunch of the stuff is very minor, but there are a couple things that I want to point attention to that are actually pretty cool. Fixed a bug where the effect added to the weapon upon using Mist of Slumber was lost when the player received an attack. This refers to the St. Trina's Blade. Previously, if you buffed that to try and get the sleep off and somebody hit you, the buff fell off, making it a relatively kind of pointless skill to use. That being fixed actually means sleep might be a little bit more viable than it was before. Some FP updates to Queen's Black Flame as well as Zamor Ice Storm. Zamor Ice Storm, you don't just get the super poise with insufficient FP, and Queen's Black Flame, you will do the follow-up attack now. It just won't be fully buffed. A lot of the stuff, more minor stuff, fixed a bug that allowed Rock Blaster. Black Flame Ritual consumed the same amount of stamina. Some performance issues. Inardina, Colossal Weapons sometimes hit twice when jumping. That's been fixed. Now, this stuff I'm not 100% about, but from my testing, I don't think it's as good as I thought, or maybe it fixed only key areas. So, fixed a bug which allowed users to reach certain inaccessible areas during multiplayer. Fixed a bug which caused the multiplayer area to have different boundaries than expected. fixed a bug that caused some areas to make the player unable to move, which led to death. That sounds good. Fixed a bug in some maps that allowed users to reach unexpected locations using certain procedures. And what was the other one about items? Hitboxes. No. Here we go. Fixed a bug which caused the effects of spells and items added to the right hand armament to occur when using certain weapon skills with the left hand. So all of that sounds good. You know, it sounds like changes involving AFK and changes involving certain types of exploits. But at least from my testing, it looks like it wasn't completely fixed. From what I can tell, at least, and I'll hop over just to demonstrate it. The Bloodfame Blade fires Deadly Sin. That glitch is still in the game, which is kind of disappointing because I'm starting to wonder if it is a glitch or if it's intended. I mean, this, honestly, it seems like there's no way this is supposed to be intended because it seems absolutely ridiculous to think that this would be intended. But let me just get everything up here. I should just do this. You can still, in fact, do this. Now, I'm not saying that means that this is intended because it sure doesn't seem like it should be. But we can still Bloodflame Blade, and then we can pop Fire's Deadly Sin, and then we can just walk up to stuff and it'll die. Now, at the very least, it's going to be a little bit harder to spam this with Bloodhound Step since that lost a little bit of effectiveness. But it is still disappointing that you are still able to do that. Because to me, that feels like an exploit. So hopefully that gets patched next time around. The other thing, in testing at least, I was still able to climb up into Lenne's Rise and pop the Taunter's Tongue. So I'm not sure if maybe in the background, Taunter's Tongue just isn't working when you're in Lenne's Rise. But it sure seems like I could go here, pop Taunter's Tongue, climb on up, and then abuse the same AFK stuff that I could previously. So it kind of sucks. So far, those are the only two things that I've noticed that were a problem, at least in my opinion, that haven't been touched. But with that being said, overall, this is still a fantastic patch. I mean, we got some really nice takeaways from this, even if we exclude all the bug fixes. I mean, right here, this alone, I mean, honestly, all 5 of these are really, really good for the health of PvP. The Corpse Piler nerf, the Stars of Ruin nerf, the Glintstone Pebble change, the Quickstep change, the Bloodhound Step change. That's all fantastic. And then on top of that, we of course saw buffs to Great Axe, Great Swords, Curved Great Swords, and Great Hammers. And then, hey, even this too, I didn't really call much attention to it, but the people that are playing purely offline, they'll be able to advance White Mask Vari's questline now, which is kind of nice. So, all in all, I would chalk this up. I would say this patch was a success. There were some really big changes that were needed for PvP, and a lot of those were added. And then on top of that, this obviously is just great for the general multiplayer health of the game. Being able to find people to co-op with or PvP with over a greater distance is going to be fantastic all around. So I would say I'd chalk this one up as a win. I think they did a pretty good job this time around. So we're going to close things out here. We'll definitely be having to jump back in. And with this patch, I think we're actually in a pretty good spot to get that Arena of Blood going, because honestly, with this, like, this is probably the closest PvP has been to balance since launch. So if there was ever a time for a tournament, it's going to be now. So keep your eyes out for that, and I'll catch you all then.